Alright guys, this is the first part of 3.5b. I think I told you in the 3.5a notes that this is probably one of the more complicated half sections that we do, if not the most complicated half sections. Really we cover just two topics or two ideas, but they're both not hard so much as just time consuming, and there's a process to them. So, let's go ahead and get started. So a directed line segment is a line segment with an additional property of direction. Okay, so if I'm told directed line segment say BC. If I'm told this, directed line segment BC, that means I start at B and end at C. Okay, that's what that means. All right, so let's look at this example here. Okay, so find the coordinates of P along the directed line segment AB. So when I say directed line segment AB, that means I'm starting at A and I'm going up to B and I'm stopping at B. Okay, so that does matter. So that the ratio of AP to PB is 3.2. Okay, so basically what I want to do is I want to cut this so that this is cut into like a 3:2 ratio. Okay, so like starting at A, so this would be a 3, this would be 2. Okay, now a lot of you want to do the distance formula. Distance formula didn't help here. Okay, because all that would do is give you the distance if you cut it into 3:2 pieces. So anyways, if we have from 3:2, so that would be like if we had a line, and guys, we're going to pretend these are equal pieces. Okay, so this would be like 1, 2, 3 pieces, 1, 2. So if we have something like right here would cut this into a 3:2 ratio. All right, let me get rid of all that. All right, so what we want to do is we're going to have to look at this like horizontally, and we're going to have to look at it vertically. Okay, so if we can cut this into, and I'm just going to guesstimate right here, say this is 3:2 right here. And then if we go up here and say this is 3:2, if we would come over here and come up here, this would be the segment along A to B. That's 3:2. Okay, so let's actually do math and not guesstimate anymore. All right, so like I said, we're going to look at horizontal and we're going to look at vertical. Okay, so let's look at horizontal first. Okay, everyone agrees that horizontal, this would be the change in X because the X goes left and right. Okay, so we're starting at 3 and we're ending at 6. All right, and if I just count this, this is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is 3 units. What I want to do is I want to cut these 3 units into a 3:2 segment, or 3:2 pieces. So this is 3:2, this is 5 total pieces. So I want to cut this into 5 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so if I cut 3 into 5 equal parts, that means each one of these has to be 3/5 units. So this is 3/5, this is 3/5, this is 3/5, this is 3/5, and this piece at the very end is 3/5. Okay, so each one of those is 3/5. Now what I want is I want 3 of those. So I'm starting at A, so I want 1, 2, 3 of those. So I want to find out what's the X coordinate right here. Okay, well, I'm starting at 3. Remember, I'm starting at X coordinate, I'm starting at 3. And I want 1, 2, 3 of the 3/5 long segments. So plus 3 times 3/5. Okay, so when I do that, if I put that into my calculator, I get 4.8. So this is 4.8. And once again, this is my x-coordinate. In other words, the x-coordinate of this point right here is 4.8, comma, of course my y hadn't changed, so I'm still at 4.82. Okay, so now I want to find my y-coordinate where I cut this into 3 to 2 parts. So suppose these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal parts again. So this time, from 2 to 8, this is 6 units. Okay, so from 2 to 8, this is 6 units. So I want to ask myself, how do I cut 6 units into 5 parts? What would each part be? Well, 5 divided by 6. Sorry, I screwed that up. 6 divided by 5. 6 divided by 5. So 6 parts divided equally into 5 groups. 6 divided by 5, 6 divided by 5, 6 divided by 5, and 6 divided by 5. Okay, so I'm asking myself, up and down is my y-coordinate, and where am I starting on my y-coordinate? I start right here at 2. So I'm going to start at 2. And then I'm going to add, well, there's 3 parts. 3 times, well, how many parts, how many units up is each part? Well, it's 6/5. So I want 1, 2, I want 3 of them. So 3 times 6/5. So put that in my calculator, 3 times 6/5 plus 2. I get 5.6. So this is 5.6, and once again, this is my y-coordinate. So what that means is this point right here is, what are we, 6? 5.6. Okay. Now, if I connect these, here up, I'm going to cross this line here, and this is going to be my 4.8, 5.6, and that's going to be my P. Okay. So if I were to erase all this jazz, so my P was somewhere like here. So this is my P, and this is 4.8, 5.6. That would mean that if I found this distance and this distance, it would have a 3 to 2 ratio. Okay, we're going to do a couple more examples. I know that was a lot to do in one, but we're going to do a couple more. All right, so now it says find the coordinates of P along the directed line segment. So that tells us we have a starting point and a stopping point. AB, so it starts at A, ends at B. So the AP to PB has a given ratio of 4 to 1 now. Okay, well, this is still 5 parts, because if we add 4 and 1, that's 5. First thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to kind of sort of plot this, and it's not going to be accurate. I'm just going to give me some type of visual. So this is 8, 4, and this is 1, 3, and I'm just going to connect the dots. All right, so I want a 4 to 1 ratio, so it'd be like 4 to 1 ratio, somewhere along there. Okay, but I want to find the coordinates of P. So this would be a 4, and this would be a 1 ratio. All right, so like I did before, I'm going to think of this as a horizontal component, and then I'm going to think of it as a vertical component. Okay, so if I'm looking from left to right horizontally, I'm starting at 1, and just left and right, I don't care about up and down right now. My x value is 8 right here. My x value is 1 here. My x value is 8 here. So this is 7 units. Okay. Now, I want to cut this into 5 equal parts. I know these aren't equal, but that was my intentions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So ask yourself, how do you cut 7 units into 5 equal parts? What would each unit be? Okay, each unit would be 7/5. So from here to here, this is 7/5 units. From here to here, this is 7/5 units. From here to here, 7/5 units. Here to here, 7/5 units, here to here, 7/5 units. All right. So, all right, guys, I had to make this bigger so I could get the next stuff. All right, so when I look back here, my X starting point, so I'm going to say X, so my X coordinate, I'm starting at 1. So 1, and I'm going right, I want 4 parts. So I'm going right, 1, 2, 3, 4 to right here. Okay, so I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 7/5. So 4 7/5 segments. Okay, so 1 plus 4 times 7/5, put it in my calculator, I get, this is 6.6. Okay, so the X coordinate right here is 6.6. Okay, now I'm going to look and do my Y coordinate. Okay, so now I'm only looking at my Y values. So I'm starting at 3, so my Y value right here is 3, and then it's 4 right here. So clearly this is just 1 unit, okay? But I still have to cut it into 5 parts. So I want to ask myself, how much is one increment if I'm cutting 1 unit into 5 parts? Well, guys, that would be 1/5. So this from here to here is 1/5, here to here is 1/5, here to here is 1/5, and so on. Okay, so when I'm going to find my Y coordinate, I want to ask myself, okay, what's my starting point? Well, I'm starting at A. The Y coordinate at A is 3. So I'm starting at 3. I'm going up. So I'm adding, and I want 4 parts. So 4 times, well, each piece is 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here is 1/5. So 4 times 1/5. Okay, so if I put that into my calculator, I get 3.8. So my Y coordinate here is 3.8. So the coordinates of P would be 6, 6, 3.8, and that would cut it into a 4:1 ratio. All right, I want you to try to do this one on your own, and then we'll go over the answers. All right, guys, so I went out and I drew this, and it's not accurate, but that's okay. We don't need accuracy, but it's always a good thing to have a visual. So when I looked, I seen we're cutting it into 3 to 7, so that's 10 total parts. Okay, so I'm going to cut each of these into 10 total parts. Now notice down here, kind of hard to see, it got buried. This is 6 units, and this is 4 units. Okay, that's total. So if I cut 6 units into 10 parts, each part would have a length of 6/10. If I cut 4 units into 10 parts, each part would be 4/10 of a unit. Okay, so my X coordinate, I'm starting at -2, and I'm adding, right here, I'm going 3 parts, so I'm adding 3 of the 6/10. And what I get is -0.2. So the X coordinate of my P is -0.2. And then my Y, my up and down, I start at 1. And then I'm adding 3 of the 10 parts, and each part is 4/10, so I'm adding 3 of the 4/10 parts. And my Y coordinate is 0.2. So the coordinates of my P is -0.2, 2.2, and once again, it cuts it into 3 parts to 7 parts. So it cuts it into 3 to a 7th ratio.